Okay, so what did y'all get? Tell me something you put for the DCE. What are the purposes of skin?
To protect the inside. To hold you together.
So your guts won't be falling out?
To protect the inside.
Somebody give me something else. What else does your skin do?
Protect your muscles from objects.
Let's work that in with so it does keep you warm. What's another temperature? Yes, it regulates your body temperature.
It's called homeostasis.
Very good, very good. Y'all, the rest of y'all know that too? That's called homeostasis. So let's talk about this one for just a second. How does your skin help regulate body temperature? So you're too hot, what happens? You sweat, right. That's your skin. You sweat, and that cools your body down. Or you're too cold. You shiver. Or you get goosebumps. And when that, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get goosebumps, what's happening is your blood vessels are constricting. Well, what is that doing? They're tightening down, and that's sending that blood back to your middle because it's trying to keep you warm where you need to be. Where would you most need to be warm? In the middle, where all your important stuff is. What? Somebody got something else? Okay, so if I took this cup of water and threw it on Tori, she might beat me up, but other than that, what would happen?
It absorbs water.
Well,
What? Your skin does absorb water. That's why your fingers get all wrinkly when you stand in the
no,
shower.
your skin doesn't.
No, it doesn't. That's because it's like natural to like make your hands grip and stuff when you're this.
So, actually, so the water, if I threw the water on Tori, it would run off of her, right? But what would not happen? It won't melt. It won't sink in. So what does the skin do for you? If I throw the water on her, are her muscles wet, or her bones wet, or her blood vessels wet?
It protects you from
It waterproofs you. Your skin is waterproof, y'all. So your skin waterproofs you. Have y'all ever heard of anybody say, it was raining too hard, I was soaked to the bone? I guess that's what old people say. But, so sometimes when you've been out in a pouring down storm and you feel like you're just drenched, some people say, oh, it's just soaked to the bone. Well, you might feel like it, but you're not really soaked to the bone because your skin keeps you waterproof.
It's just your clothes.
Right, your clothes may be wet, your hair may be wet, and your skin may be wet, but under your skin is not wet. What else? What does your skin do? Your skin is a scent. Where do you touch? What do you touch?
Your fingers.
No, you touch your skin.
It sits.
You can touch with lots of things besides your fingers, right? I mean, if you want to open the bathroom door and you just wash your hands, you can touch with your elbow. So your skin is what touches things. It's a sense organ, right? So in that regard, let's go back to protect, but not protect the inside. Right. If something's hot, you feel that. That's what your skin does. So then you don't continue to touch it, hopefully. That is another. Your skin tells you whether something hurts, whether something feels good, right?
What's causing the body odor?
Okay, that's a good question. Body odor is caused by sweat, but actually, sweat in and of itself doesn't really smell bad. What happens is when the sweat interacts with the bacteria that's on your skin, then you get body odor. So if you didn't have any, so for instance, if you just got out of the shower and you were to sweat, it probably isn't going to smell bad because you've just washed all the bacteria off. Whereas if it's been a long day and then you sweat, there's more of a chance of body odor then. But that's a good question, and that goes along with skin. So the top layer of the skin is called what? Epidermis. So what is special about the epidermis? let me give you a hint. What is special about the epidermis is actually what it does not have, not what it does have. So thinking about what we were just now talking about, it doesn't have the sweat glands. It also doesn't have, we're talking about touch. That involves what?
Does it have sense?
Which your senses come from nerves. There are no nerves. And what's the other thing? If you scratch yourself just in that top layer of skin, right, you're not going to bleed. There's no blood vessels in the epidermis. So if you're having injury that's really, really shallow, it doesn't bleed, right? I mean, if you just barely scratch yourself. But it doesn't take a lot before it does bleed. So what does that tell you about the epidermis?
It's thin.
It's thin. It is. It's very thin. Okay, so under the epidermis you have the what? Dermis. That's where all this stuff is going to be found. Now, here's the thing. We know that if we barely touch ourselves, we feel it. Right? Everybody try that. See if you can you touch yourself light enough that you don't feel it. Not. It's really, really hard, isn't it? So, and the nerves are found in the dermis. Therefore, the dermis must be really, really close to, right? So, when we're talking about our skin, you have lots of it. So this little piece of paper is the closest I could come up to for a square inch. Do y'all understand what I mean? An inch by an inch. So you have 3,000 square inches of skin. So if we took this piece of paper and we went out in the hall right here and we laid it down, and then we laid down another one. Nobody brought anything for the old people food drive today, did they?
You forgot.
We'll do better next time. Thank you. Okay, so if we went out in the hall and we laid down this square inch, and then we put another one beside it, another one, and we had 2,999 more to add to this one, it would go down the hall and out the door and across the field, right? I would think. But that's not a square inch, that's just a line. So then we got to come this way too. And we're going to do 3,000 of them that way and 3,000 of them that way. And then we would finish off that opposite corner. All that would be our skin. I think that sounds crazy. Because I think if you took a knife right now and you skinned me, and you laid my skin out, it wouldn't be that big, right? So how do we explain that? Because we have more than one layer of skin. So do y'all know, or have you ever heard that we're just constantly losing skin cells?
Yeah, you go.
Fortunately, no. Like dandruff and just, right. So all through our lives, every day, skin's just coming off. It is so gross. Fortunately, it's so tiny that we don't see that. It could be like snakes and walk around shedding our skin and it's laying there. And wouldn't that be disgusting? So, does anybody need a snack?
Diane?
So, so we'll take just a break for a second. So make it. I love it.
I want to say that, but I'll girl. To the well, yeah. I say pull. Yeah, that's how we use
Okay, let's come back. So we have more than one layer of skin. Let's talk a little bit about some of the properties of it. When you're still young, your skin is very what?
Soft.
It's usually soft. It's firm, like it's not wrinkly. Well, I should say y'all, not me. Everybody if you've got a long sleeve shirt on, push your sleeve up. Now I want you to pinch yourself, not a little tiny like hurting pinch, but pinch. What happens when you do that?
Elasticity.
Very good. Elasticity. Just like a rubber band bounces right back. Our skin bounces right back, right?
It just stays there.
Thank you. That is what I was getting ready to talk about. Perfect. So who besides Tori has ever pinched up an old person's skin?
It stay your
Is Tori the only one that goes around pinching old?
It looks like a little hair.
It does. Okay, great. So, how did you say it?
It stay up for a while.
It stays up for a while. And Catherine said it leaves a little heel. Okay, there's a medical word for that. It's called tinting. Like Boy Scouts putting up a tent. You hold it up and it stays. It will eventually go back down, but it doesn't snap right back, right? So why is that?
Because they're old.
They lose their elasticity. Let's talk for a minute. What are some things that play into that loss of elasticity? Well, the first thing is just age. They're older, and as you get older, you naturally lose some of the elasticity. Not taking care of yourself. So let's take that a little further. Not taking care of yourself in what way?
If you
Yes.
get like really big and then lose weight, you're gonna be real saggy. Like,
Yeah, that happens too because your skin will stretch. So if you have stretched yourself out with a lot of weight and then you lose weight, that does happen. So yes, in that regard, that is with young people. But young people have a much better chance of that skin tightening back up. So, what nutrition? Let's go back to Logan talking about not taking care of yourself. So, poor nutrition definitely plays into the health of your skin. So, as people get older, and of course this isn't true about everybody, but as people get older, they tend to have a decrease in appetite. Have y'all seen? Does everybody know, like at least one or two much older people? You know, your metabolism slows down. You're not as hungry, so you're not eating as much, and you're not getting the full nutrition you need. Also, you're not drinking as much. That leads to dehydration. Even in y'all, dehydration will play a number on your skin, but it definitely does in older people when their skin is already in a worse place. Everybody's seen what old people's skin looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me some things you notice.
age spots.
Age spots. Yeah.
It's really thin and they can like, they bruise and like bleed.
That's exactly right. It's sometimes it's scaly, it's really thin, you can see through it, right? Yes. Okay, so do not smoke. Smoking will do that to your skin. It'll age you super quick, y'all. Yeah. So it bruises really, really easy. It's very, very thin. Yeah, like the dark spots is coloring. So y'all are leading me into the next subject. If it's really thin, and it bruises easy, and you can see through it, what could happen to that skin very easily?
It can die.
Yes, it's very easy to rip and
die.
tear. Okay, so let's watch this little bit. Okay, y'all watch this for just a minute. Because we're going to be concerned.
As we age, our skin becomes less elastic and the layer of fat underneath decreases. This can result in increased bruising and tearing, even under the best of care.
It becomes hard to imagine that we aren't going to hit some rate of skin breakdown. But it is really unfortunate. It's a source of pain. It's unpleasant for the patient, their family. It's an ongoing annoyance, even if it isn't painful, just to have to get the dressings changed and so on. So most of us who work in long-term care really pay attention to trying to keep the skin intact. And then, of course, some people are just so thin or so heavy or have such fragile skin or insist upon laying only in a certain way that it's going to be very hard for some small set of people to avoid skin breakdown, especially as they get very close to the end of life. If the person still has a long time to live, you mostly can get them to turn some, to accept you're turning them. At the point at which a person is just sort of made miserable by being moved around, sometimes you have to accept that they're going to have skin breakdown near the end.
Okay, so a couple things that she talked about, and I want to know if y'all can